Guys, stop apologizing for being proud of yourself. Sometimes people that talk to me, they'll be like, oh my God, they'll be like, I'm sorry, man. I feel like I'm just talking about myself. I'm like, hey man, listen, it's okay to believe in yourself around me, buddy. Okay? You're giving me hope. When good shit happens to people, I get hopeful. Cause that's the positive about being selfish.
Welcome to FredTalk, where if you're not learning, hopefully you're laughing.
Welcome to the FredTalk Dolocast live stream, baby. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing all right. Today's been a very eventful day, so I'll give you my thoughts on what happened at the Capitol today. But before we get into that, guys, follow World Local News on YouTube. That's the news show I do with Greg Perlman. Also check out on my YouTube channel, there's some Date Live episodes. That's the dating show I have where I interview people for 20 minutes. And if you like them, you get to slide in their DMs. I mean, how much easier could it get, guys, right? So check that out. Those are some of the other projects I'm working on. Also, if you need some editing done for your podcast, YouTube channel, things like that, you want to start a passion, but you don't have the time because you have a full-time job. These are the best guys to come to ask to work on your back end stuff. This is the tedious stuff, the editing. I know some people are into that. They want to know the intricacies, but for people like me that don't, these are the people you're going to want to talk to, right? So hit up cloud2studios.com and they'll hook you up with whatever you need. They have different packages and they'll work with different types of people and all that. So, all right, there we go. Cloud2, WLN, Date Live. And then I'll be doing stand-up comedy in Durham this Saturday at 7 p.m. Hit me up in my Instagram DMs for more details if you want. All right. I'll be promoting on my story there. And then also just ask me any questions or whatever, and I'll send the flyer over. I'm not just going to start babbling at the mouth if nobody's going to go. You feel me? I don't want to waste my time. Drop a comment. I want to see if the comments are working, guys. Had somebody come over, had a medium-sized white dude come over and look at the computer. And when he left, it was all working. So I'm hoping to see, if any of the comments are working. So if you're on here and you see me, hit up the comments. But guys, today, holy shit popped off. I mean, we were talking about this on the news show yesterday on World Local News, and Greg was saying that, yeah, there's going to be some violence and blah, blah, blah. And me, I went into typical, I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even have no idea. I was like, they ain't gonna do shit. There's always talks and blah, 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 but nothing's gonna happen. And these motherfuckers went in, stormed the Capitol building, just fucking, it looks like a scene out of a movie, like some movie that Will Smith is in or something like that right now. With some of the videos that I've been seeing over on social media and shit. Shit is wild. Storm the Capitol. That takes balls. You're storming a federal building. That's wild. People were looting a federal building. I mean, we definitely moved the mile marker another whatever. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Oh, dude. I saw a dude, he had a hat on and he took the podium or the stand or something like that. That's fucking wild. I mean, oh gosh. Wow, man. This is I was super positive about 2021 and it's just the beginning, guys. What are we going to do? I don't know. I made a comment on my Instagram. It's on my feed if you want to check it out. But I looked at just a group of fucking angry white dudes yelling at cops and charging. And I'm like, holy shit, if this was black people, it'd be completely different. It'd be completely different. And I had a few people slide up in my DMs and contest me on that. And I'm like, this is I'm not debating you. Then they're bringing up Black Lives Matter and all this shit. I'm not. This is different context. They're storming a federal building. This is more centralized. And all my question is I'm not comparing the two. That's where people did. I'm specifically saying, if you flip the races, do you think things will be a little bit different? That was the point I was making. That was the only point I was making. So if anybody jumped in my DM and was like, "Oh, don't make this about race," it's like this is a part of it. Like I'm just saying, a thought experiment. This is my thought experiment. You flip the races. Would it have gone exactly the same? No. Do you think more people would have been dead? I think yes. If you wholeheartedly don't agree, then we disagree. That's fine. I just don't think your grip on reality is there 100%. Like, someone hit me up in my DMs. Well, there's more things we could talk about. I'm like, yeah, sure. We can spend hours talking about the different layers of analysis and all that through all this. But I chose to pull on this string right here. And my thing is, if you were to switch the races, would it have been the same thing? Would they be able to storm and fucking end up in the office? The shit you see on C-SPAN, that hall with the fucking tables and shit, where you see all the politicians sitting. There was dudes sitting there drinking a Budweiser, just hanging. I think one of the dudes had their feet kicked up on a desk and shit. I'm just saying, if it was a black dude, would they have been able to get to the desk? Would they be having their feet kicked up on a desk is what I'm saying. So don't come at me with, but black guy. My argument isn't talking about who deserves to get what type of vandalism or property destruction is morally correct. I'm not even talking about that. I'm literally just saying, in the event of the storming of the Capitol, if you switch the races, would that change? That's it. I had 3 or 4 people hit me up in my Instagram DMs like, no, this is not blah, blah, blah. Fucking Ebony Jones, what's up, girl? Yeah, he was chilling. He has something in his hands. He looked like the Budweiser type. So I'm sitting there, and if you flip the races, it would be different. The only way you don't think it would be different is if you're in too deep. Like I said on my Instagram post, if you don't see that that's an example of white privilege, if you don't see that it's an example of white privilege, you're in too deep on your political party. You've been bit. You're on zombie mode. You're not looking at it. Fucking. I'm talking about even people. I have friends that vote Republican, that vote whatever. They're like, oh no, yeah, it definitely would. It's not even a question. And that's why the people that enter my DMs, instead of staying to that one thing, they want to jump over to all this other shit. I was like, why are you bringing up Black Lives Matter right now? I'm saying, in this thing, if you flip the races, will it be the same? That's all I'm saying. Just do that thought experiment in your head. You don't even got to ask anybody. Hit me up in my Instagram DMs if you want to talk about it. I still have energy and there's still some interest. But once that runs out, then, I'll move on to something else. So, storming the Capitol on a Wednesday. You done fucked up everybody's Wine Wednesday, guys. They fucked up everybody's Wine Wednesday. Why would they do that? Wine Wednesday, dude, what? Wine Wednesday's a white people thing too. They were serious about their shit. I think last I read before I got on here, it looked like things were calming down and they've gained control of the Capitol. Listen to that sentence. The government has regained control of the Capitol after pro-Trump supporters stormed it. Come on, guys. Come on. Republicans, come on. You guys are supposed to be better than this. I'll say this, that looking at doing the social media research I do, a lot of Republicans in the comment sections of some big accounts, whether they're liberal or Democrat, whatever, are saying this is a bad look. This ain't us. What's the plan here? Shit like that. So I will say that the comment section there has a hefty amount of people that are like, what the fuck? From what I saw, this is like an hour and a half in. It looked like most of the people were like, what the fuck? This isn't us. We're stooping, blah, blah, blah. So there is some type of whatever. It doesn't, at least within that party or whatever. So I thought that was pretty cool. But then there's definitely people that are like, oh, this is a revolution. This is our time. This is what we're going to do. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, they've regained control of the Capitol. Bro, on a fucking Wednesday, bro, middle of the week, they don't give a shit. I guess I would be jobless people or I guess they're working from home now, baby. They're like, hold on, can we move the Zoom call to 4 p.m. because I got a little something I got to do, Tina. Something that's been on my mind. A couple blocks up. Man. You know, when people ask me why I didn't vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I give you this eloquent fucking pop, pop, pop. Makes sense. And I can tell when I hit people with it. It's, you know, it makes sense. For me, last year, the George Floyd thing set off this whole discussion about systemic racism and all this shit, right? And all it was great. Everybody's talking. A lot of people moved closer to a side of understanding, which is awesome. And I didn't feel right voting for, we're talking about systemic racism, which is a thing and all that. I wasn't going to give my vote to two people that directly added to that. Now I understand it was like, oh, this wasn't a pro-Biden vote. It was an anti-Trump vote, but I was like, I'm not playing that mental gymnastics with myself. I understand why other people did it. I'm not judging that. I don't, like I said, I don't judge that. But for me, that's why I don't want to do it. 94 crime bill, this and that. I would love to see them tackle the prison industrial complex, you know, when it comes to some of this shit, because that's something that they added to that they could directly affect. And the only reason that it wouldn't happen is if they don't want to fuck up anybody's pockets, right? That would be the only reason why. So now that's a good test to see if these guys are really about their shit or not. I just feel like if I was a politician, if I was a strategizing and have people way smarter than me doing this, that'd be like, hey, this is something we can knock a chip off, unless people are making money and they don't want to fuck that up. So you get to see who's really full of shit. And before when Joe Biden won the election, whatever, November, whatever, and I was like, listen, I was like, you can make a checklist, I bet. Make a checklist of all the things the conservatives got really fucking pissed off about, or looked down on the liberals for doing. And I was like, I bet you hit most, they'll do the same exact thing. What was it, 2016 when Trump won? They were like, not my president, blah, blah, blah. Now you got people on the right doing that, right? Boom, check. Now we got riots and looting. You know, riots and looting. This one's a little different. It's a government building. It's a federal building. This was a more centralized riot and looting, I guess, unless there's, you know, other state buildings being whatever. But at some point, it kind of just becomes like it's almost all the same. I don't know. Like, fucking weird. No Facebook comments are coming up. That's typically where most of the participation has been. So if I don't see the Facebook comments, just fucking keep following along, and I'll reach out later and look through the comments and all that. So that was why I didn't want to vote for Joe Biden. And then when people asked me about Trump, it wasn't as eloquent. It was more of a feeling thing. And you have to be careful when you talk to people on the right and you say, this is like a feeling thing, because then a lot of them will dismiss you of that. Well, it's facts over feelings, even though you pick your political party on a feelings basis. So don't act like you don't. It absolutely is an emotional aspect to it. So to completely take that out of the conversations, it kind of doesn't even make sense to me. But people ask me why I didn't vote for Trump, and it was for this shit right here. I mean, he called this shit. He even his speech to have people stand down, even that speech was weak. He started it off by saying, we got the election stolen from us. Oh yeah, but by the way, go home. And he didn't say by the way, but like he's like, go home. But you start the speech with the the election's been stolen from us. That's weird. That's like, what do you get? You get caught cheating, and your apology is like, hey, she had a fat ass, but just so you know, I'm really sorry about what I did, babe. You know, this isn't, you know, that ass was fat though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. That's a weird way to tell people to not be violent. Hey, the election was stolen from us. Oh, by the way, yeah, go home. Like, come on. So the reason this is the reason I didn't vote for Trump, because as a man, and I'm not judging anybody who did, I'm not judging you on my scale of how I judge myself. Do you understand that? I'm not judging you on the scale that I judge myself. I have myself on the different standards. And if you don't follow my standards, I don't fucking judge you for that. Do you feel me? This is just how I feel. As a man, I just didn't feel like I don't feel like Donald Trump's a leader. That straight up, that whole George Floyd thing, I think he has the skill set that during the George Floyd thing, he could have brought the whole race relation thing. He could have brought us together. I actually think he has the skill set to do that. And he didn't do that. He chose the easy route, which was the divisiveness and all that. And that shit didn't sit right with me. He planned that one of his Trump rallies during the anniversary of the Tulsa race massacre that happened in 1921. That's fucking dark. And he ended up switching it, but still, that's still fucking weird. And me as a man, for the kind of man that I want to be an honorable man. If you watch Gladiator, just watch that movie. I'm trying to be that dude in my life. I can't co-sign a guy like that to lead me. You feel me? Like, I like to get led by people that I feel like are better than me, or that I can learn. Like, the fuck you, like, I just can't. I couldn't put my name on that. And that's why I didn't vote for Trump. And that's why I didn't vote for Biden. I gave you the Biden, reason earlier, but this was specifically why I didn't vote for Trump. He's just not, it just doesn't seem like a guy that leads. Guys, I grew up in New York. Good Day New York was the news station I used to watch every morning before I went to school. And he was constantly on the news. And it was like buffoonery type shit. So to watch him have this come up has actually been kind of interesting for me personally. It's just like, holy fuck, like, motherfucker just bounced back and turned around and became president. So just know it didn't bounce back, but you feel it's just, yeah, God, I don't know. But guys, be smart, and just as you look through these videos, make sure you're paying attention, you're asking questions, and don't, when something doesn't agree with your thing, don't all of a sudden assume like, oh, well, that news source isn't this or this and that. Like, look at the videos, be smart. Don't let your political party make you turn you into a zombie. Think. Please, guys. And learn how to have arguments too, productive arguments, discussions. Some of these reasons and shit are so trash. I'm like, is this person, how do they have a fucking full-time job? How do they have a competence level? You like that? The little Dominican accent there just came out. Oh yeah, mommy, the levels, okay. Oh yeah. Storm the Capitol. So, onto a more positive note, guys. How's the new year treating everybody? Everybody on that fucking, everybody's new year started January 4th, by the way. We had those 3 extra days there to fucking just get a little loosey goosey, get those last few drinks in, those last few hits of the bowl. You feel me? Giving up those vices. Who's giving up coffee? Is anybody giving up coffee? What are your New Year's resolutions? What are you doing? You do a resolution? Are you typically good with them? A lot of people have moved to like the one word thing. I thought I was being special by being like, I'm just going to make it one word and I'm going to focus on the one word and that's going to push me through. But I think a lot of people do that. I found is, last year my word was breathe, and I think it definitely helped me out. Like, I definitely, like, I guess I just learned how to breathe this year. I'm 34 years old and I just learned how to breathe. Hi guys, my name is Freddy Valoy and I just learned how to breathe, like using my diaphragm and shit like that. Because as an anxious person, apparently it fucks with the way you breathe. You tense up, and you got to be aware of all that. But the belly breaths are like the foundation for a lot of things, especially managing my anxiety in the moment, getting those, in through the nose, filling up the diaphragm, getting up into the chest, breathing out. There's different breathing exercises you can do. Guys, I recommend Wim Hof's breathing technique. It's on YouTube. It's for free, and it's 11 minutes, and he walks you through the whole thing, and you will feel noticeably better afterwards. It's not even a question. It like grounds you. It centers you. It's really freaking, it's great. So that last year, that was my word, was breathe. And I feel like that really helped because it made me more mindful. Because just even now throughout the day, I'll just take a breath, watch, like just those little moments, those little, 5 seconds of mindfulness, they fucking add up throughout the day, and it gets me less out of my head. So if you're one of these ADHD types, anxiety, thoughts racing, you go into anxiety spirals and shit like that and kind of fucks up your day, hop on the breaths, please. I would say 9 out of 10 times it's worked to not derail my days, anything like that. So what would your word for this new year be? If you've never done the word thing, humor me here. What would your word be? My word this year was going to be imagination. I was like, I really want to use my imagination on my creative shit, really push the bounds and really like go out to like what I think is funny and all that. Cause I've been doing that more this year and it's really working. It just feels good. It's starting to feel like comedy's starting to feel a little more effortless. I still have a long way to go. I still have a lot of work to do and all that. You know, this is year 4 for me, which is like, what kind of fucking year 4 was this with COVID, you know? But jumping on the live streams and stuff like that, it feels more like these Dolocasts used to be so like consume all my energy to get ready and the anxiety and this and that. But after you do them a few times, it's like, all right, you get in there and it becomes a little bit easier. So I'm thinking I want to push my imagination, right? I'm next to my girl and she looks at me, she goes, no. I was like, what do you mean? She goes, she tells me I don't need any help. Freddy, you don't need any help with your imagination. You got the imagination thing's good. And I was like, oh yeah, I do. I had just made a joke about, we were sitting in this restaurant and it's just like an in the moment thing. And it was a silly joke where in the joke, there was a prawn working hostess at a restaurant. So that just out of nowhere, she was telling a story. I said that, we started laughing about it. It had little prawn glasses looking up your reservation and all that. And yes, the prawn was being a fucking little snooty little fucking bitch the whole time. This is a male prawn at the desk. But a prawn with little glasses looking up your reservation. So we started laughing. I was like, all right, maybe I don't need help with the imagination piece. All right. So I'm just going to roll with execution and like consistency, monetize with either one of those 3 words, because I'm trying to fucking bring in some money with this shit now. And for me to do that, right, so monetize, so we can drill down, right? So monetize, for me to do that, what I've been lacking is consistency. So maybe consistency is the word, or execution. Somewhere in between ecstasy or whoa. Uh-oh. That was a Freudian slip, guys. That's it. I've already locked it in, guys. The spell's already in for the New Year's. I said it in the tone, which means now I have to do a bunch of ecstasy this year. No, I'm just kidding. Ecstasy's for your 20s. Molly's for your 30s. No, I'm just kidding. That and mushrooms. No, I'm just kidding, guys. All right. Yeah. So somewhere between execution and consistency. I could be a real cornball and just combine those 2 words, right? Existency, right? Or fucking execution-cy. Consisticution. Right, guys? That's going to be the word for the year, is consisticution. We're going to be consistently executing at high levels. And high levels are relative. You just go to whatever levels for you. It usually is that a little bit past that I'm anxious phase. One word, imagination is not it for me. All right? It ain't imagination, guys. It's fucking consisticution-cy. It's not. So it's consistency. So I can monetize, guys. Share my work with your friends. But share my TikToks. All my fucking people like it. You know, unless I say flip the races of the people that stormed the Capitol, because then if you flip it, it would be the exact same. And then if you think that, then you might disagree on that. Maybe you don't want to share that, but I have other things you could share, guys. It's called nuance. It's called nuance, guys. For New Year's, we went to Charleston, South Carolina. It was all good. It was all socially distant. South Carolina was surprisingly, they were surprisingly like, everybody was like wearing masks and shit out, while they're walking around and all that. The restaurants are socially distanced. If you've never been to Charleston, you got to go. That city is the shit. It's on the water, right? So Charleston's 20 minutes from like the beach is 10 or 20. There's like Folly Beach, and then there's Sullivan's Island. Apparently Folly Beach is like more like the hippie vibe beach, whatever. And then Sullivan's Island, they said, is a different kind. I think he was trying to say it was maybe a little bit fancier, but I don't know. We went to a restaurant on Sullivan's Island called The Obstinate Daughter. If you're into food, you're into restaurants, all that stuff, and if you go to Charleston or you've never been to this place, check it out. The Obstinate Daughter, bomb ass food. That was my second time ever being there. Rachel and I sat at the bar. Red and I realized like I don't even know, 4 or 5 years into the relationship, we're 8 years and this is year 9. So we realized that we're a bar couple. We don't like the tables. There's a different feel at the bar. We're sitting next to each other, and when it's just us two, it just creates a better vibe. So if you're looking to change things up in your relationship and you typically sit at a table when you go to the restaurant, do this little thing for me and go take a seat up at the bar. Take a seat up at the bar and try it out. I'm telling you. So this place, The Obstinate Daughter, was great. Bomb ass food. There was the bartender that was serving us. He's a Mexican dude. You could tell he was from like Cali or something like that. He was a Mexican dude that just like, Mexican dude that talked like a white guy. Isn't that you, Freddy? Yeah, I beat you to the joke. He was super cool, super passionate about what he was doing. I fucking love that. Just seeing someone into the shit they're doing. It's like, because if you know me, I'm an easily excitable person, so I get excited about that. So on my second drink, I go, I want something a little bit different. I'm in the mood to try something new, and his eyes perk up. He's like, can I pick for you? And that just warmed my heart. Because one thing, I went through a phase when I was just really like exploring food where I would just go and I would tell the server to just pick for me. I don't have any allergies. I don't ever send anything back as long as it tastes good. Just I'm trying to try new things. So you just get me whatever you want. And that was fun. I got to try a bunch of new things. That was like a solid 2 years of my life. Then I kind of realized I was like, that might make it a little bit more annoying for the server. So I stopped. It took me that long to realize that. But it was done to me when I was a server, and I thought that shit was so fucking cool. I thought it was so cool. It was a group of guys. They meet every year for dinner or whatever. They spend the weekend, and they did that. They all got surprise dishes, and then at the end they played credit card roulette. And it's very simple. You run up a tab, and then everybody at the table puts in a debit card, and the card you pick is the card that covers the entire bill. We did that one time in our mid-20s, and thank God I never lost any of those, because there was like, we were 24, 25, it was like $500 bar tabs, and dudes are just... The one dude that lost a lot had a trust fund, so I actually don't even feel bad for him whatsoever, but... yeah, dude. So The Obstinate Daughter, this guy was great. So he's excited about the drink, right? He's like, oh, I'll do it. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And he like turns around and like, I don't know if he trips or something, but he kind of like falls into the thing and breaks a glass. And I was like, oh shit. He was like, cause he was excited. He was kind of like, he was super energized about it. And he dropped the glass. He goes, oh, he kind of like got red. And I was like, dude, don't worry about it. I was like, I'm a very excitable person. And I just understood what happened there, bro. You just got excited. You're about to hit me in the face with this drink, and you're excited about it. And he was like, he started laughing. He was like, I felt like there was like an energy blast coming, like saying that my energy pushed him into the wall, which possibly, or it could have been a ghost, because Charleston apparently is haunted. So that could have been some, that could have just been some ghost, just some kind of racist ghost not liking that, a Mexican dude and a Dominican dude were getting along on a food level, and he fucking pushed him into the thing. I had the drink. It was fucking bomb. There seems to be a trend with bartending and mixology right now with like, there's like an herb taste to a lot of these things. If you go to Y Hill in Raleigh, North Carolina, the Moment of Clarity is fucking great. It has a shit ton of ingredients that like, but you could taste, it's like, there's like an herby, and it's not overtaking. It's really, really nice. I'm liking this trend. I've been getting a few more cocktails because of that. It's been like super refreshing, especially in the summertime. So this guy served us bomb drinks, great service, crushed it. Apparently Justin Timberlake has a house on Sullivan's Island where we went to that restaurant. And the guy was saying, he was like, he served Justin Timberlake at the bar. He said it was cool because he had his own little personal Justin Timberlake concert at the bar. How fucking sweet is that? That sounds like the opposite of storming the fucking U.S. Capitol building is what that sounds like to me. That sounds pleasant. That sounds real nice. He said he would like sing along to songs and shit, and like that's fucking great. A little personal JT concert. Like Justin Timberlake to me seems like, let me finish this thought before you guys jump down my throat. I fucking love Justin Timberlake, all right? I had the Justified album, his first solo album. I used to wake up to that almost every morning and play it. I used to start off with Senorita, and it would get my day going for my senior year of high school, which was very fun for me. It was a very, it was one of the high times of my life. Not the highest, because you can't do that. You can't have fun in high school, and then senior year of high school can't be your peak. I was voted most popular in the yearbook. That was my superlative. And I got prom king. Worst 2 days of my life. What if I wanted to stay home and be a bum and just live with my mom? That option was out the window, because if you know me, you know I don't like being like predictable. And that just seemed, that's a type of person, the guy that peaks in high school, and I don't want to be that person. So I was like, now I got to make something of myself. I got to leave New York and I got to go make something now. All these accolades and shit. I can't be the dude that crushes it in high school and then just falls off. So that's one of the reasons why your boy just keeps moving upward. My plan was to be a piece of shit, just to be a bum, living at the crib, telling people I go on job interviews, but I don't, telling them, the market's tough right now with the jobs. We can't find any, but I'm not looking for jobs, guys. I'm out here chilling. That was the original plan, but I had to make something myself. So that's that. But Justin Timberlake, he's that dude. But to me, he seems like the dude, because he's so good at everything. He's so talented. He's a sweetheart. He's so nice. He fucking does all these good things. I feel like he has a little dick. But that's not it, right? Because that's too down the middle. Oh, Freddie, now you're just hating because it's Justin Timberlake and he can hit these high notes that you can't even hit, that you try to hit, and you just make people upset. That's not the reason, Freddie. That's not it. I'm not hating. Justin Timberlake seems like a dude that has a little dick, but he's still great in bed. You feel me? Because that's what it's like for JT. Where he might have a little dick, but in the end, it's going to work out for him because he cares so much and he listens. All right? If he's listening, when you're having a conversation on the street, then he's listening in the bedroom, guys. A good listener is a good listener. You're paying attention to body language. You're paying attention to breaths and the rhythm of the breath. And the only guy... You don't think Justin can do that shit? You don't think Justin Timberlake can do that? I think he can, but he might have a little. I wouldn't be surprised. What I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if he. I'm not saying he does have a little dick because I don't know that. But if they said, "Oh, Justin Timberlake has a 1-inch penis," I'd be like, "Bro, that makes sense." But he's great in bed. I'm like, that makes even more sense. The guy deserves all the success. Remember when he was on Punk'd? Back when Punk'd was the shit, he was on Punk'd and he cried at the end of his Punk'd, and I felt bad. Justin Timberlake got bullied by Ashton Kutcher essentially, and we all let it slide. That should have been the end of Ashton Kutcher's career, but we let him live on. That's fine, though. That's fine. We're doing a lot of walking in Charleston. Charleston's a great, great walking city. It has the old architecture. There's some shit with character. A lot of historic districts, some cobblestone streets, all that. A lot of people wearing masks on the street, too. Which was great because I thought South Carolina was going to be the Wild West, like I said earlier. But people were wearing masks, especially in the populated areas, which I think is cool. And I think they were doing it too because there's a lot of old people living out there, and the old people are like, I spent 40 years working at Johnson & Johnson. I was a part of the generation that could actually have the American dream. I got this home in Charleston, or so. I'm not fucking this up with some bullshit coronavirus. So they were pretty good with the mask there. They're pretty good with the mask, and then walking on the street. What's the etiquette we're walking on the street? Because I like social contracts as long as they make sense. You know what I'm saying? But it seems to me that like on the street, on the sidewalk, I'm constantly having to move over. Like I'll walk, and there'll be like a group of people walking straight. So it's like 3 people taking up the sidewalk. It'll just be me, and I'm somehow the one that has to get on the street. What are we doing here? Actually, during COVID, I actually don't mind doing that. It's just easier for one person to move. I'll fucking go, whatever. But if it's a street where it's just, you have your mask on, there's no way you're going to really escape people. Why the fuck am I the one moving over? I hear this too. I hear that like some men don't move out of the way for women. And then I hear so that's on the gender side. And then on the race side too, I hear that some white people don't move for black people. I'm not saying that it happens, but these are just things that I've heard. But I noticed that there's just some people that do not move the fuck out of the way. They just walk right in. It's just like, we're trying to work here. Now you can make the gentleman argument. I move for women, stuff like that. That's fine. But what are the society rules here? I think just hit the right side. Let's all stay on the sidewalk. If you're rolling 3 deep across, y'all fucking hit that formation. Hit that vertical formation. Go from horizontal to vertical. Get on the fucking right side and just keep it moving. Don't wait. Like give people you see people walking. Give people some kind of thing where I'm gonna move out of the way. Don't fucking make it weird. Maybe I'm tripping on this one, guys. I'll admit I feel uncomfortable with this one because I feel like I could be in the wrong. So let me know. I want to know what's the etiquette for walking on the sidewalk, because those are tough social experiences for me. Because I'm like, I'm trying to like be nice, but at the same time, like, why the fuck do I always have to move? All right. Sullivan's Island, the beach. I like going to the beach in the winter. I jumped in the water. I've always wanted to do that. Growing up in New York City or New York, I grew up in Yonkers, so it's not technically New York City. You hear about the Polar Bear Club in Coney Island. They jump in the Atlantic Ocean, and people were like, yo, that's fucking cold. I'll never do that, blah, blah, blah. And I never thought I'd do it. I was like, oh, shit. But then, I do cold plunges and shit to help with recovery. And actually, I don't do the cold plunges for recovery. I do them for it just makes me feel good. I usually do one right before these live streams or before I head out the door. I just cold ass water, 2 minutes on my head, on the back of the head, because I believe that's where the vagus nerve is. And that spot on the back of your head is very sensitive to pressure and temperature changes. So you can feel shit go down with that. But I jumped in the Atlantic Ocean, I submerged myself in. I was hanging out. I was fucking floating and shit. I did some kind of symbolism thing for the new year, like kind of wash away the sins for 2020. I put it on Instagram too. I washed away the sins of everyone's 2020 and most of the people's 2021. So some of you, I wish I would have gotten everybody, because then maybe these people wouldn't have stormed the Capitol building. And here's the thing. I don't mind them storming the building. So that's another thing where it gets confused. People are like, oh, but what about it was just the thought experiment of the flip. So remember that. We already covered that. I'm going a little bit off the rails here. I was on the beach. This beach on Sullivan's Island. So there's Folly Beach and Sullivan's Island. He used words that I didn't know. It was like water words, like beach words. Like essentially part of one beach is because of the tide, is being taken off of one part and then being added to another part. So Sullivan's Island is growing, apparently. Any environmental people out there, let me know what the words are for that one, because I don't know. The guy, we took a bike taxi the last night. It was fucking great way to see the city. And he was an environmental philosopher. So he was one that told us about that. Cool ass dude. He was playing MF Doom. We just found out that MF Doom, arguably, the people say he's one of the best lyricists ever for hip hop. He died in October, but his wife came in the other day and announced that he died. So this dude was playing MF Doom on his bike. He's a hipster. Hipsters fuck with MF Doom. I got to look more into that as to why. But he's because he's not mainstream, and he's good. But I got to look into that a little bit more. But this dude was awesome. He told me about the beach growing and shit. So I was like, damn, that shit is. I thought the shore, like the thing was wild, because it, like where the beach starts and the shore is, it's like, it's one of the longer ones that I've seen. It's one of the longer ones. And somehow Rachel and I started talking about God. We started talking about God, and I was like, I said something. I was like, oh, God's a man. I was like, God's definitely a man. And I was just, you just got to say shit to see what works. And this is how you come up with jokes. Because my girl was like, God's not a man. You can't say he's a man. And then she jokingly goes, God's inside of all of us. Like says it in that like church lady voice, like joking. And I was like, yeah, that's why he's a man. He's all up in our shit without any consent. just in our bodies. That sounds like some man shit to me. You let me know. Oh, gosh. God, Justin Timberlake. Yeah. So fucking go to Charleston. If you're looking to go to a different beach, change things up. What's great about this is that you can hit the beach during the day and then city at night, or switch it up. They got good shopping there. Great restaurants. I believe in the South, like Charleston's one of the best places in the country to eat. Here's a weird thing about that statement though, is that I'm noticing that a lot of like not huge cities that have decent food or good food, they all say that they have some of the best restaurants in the country. Raleigh's one of them. Dallas was another place. Austin, I know Austin does, and I know Charleston does, but I'm noticing that there's other cities kind of like inching in on that clout, and I don't know if it's true or not, guys. I really don't. Guys, last time on the last Dolocast, it's up on YouTube. Check it out. I covered my 2052 presidential campaign run. Go back to the episode, check it out. It's somewhere towards the end, somewhere in the last 10 or 15 minutes. I talk about Mexicans, and then I talk about my presidential campaign run, and I give you my immigration policy. So if you want to know my immigration policy for my 2052 presidential campaign run, just go ahead and check out the last Dolocast. It's up on YouTube now. It'll be up on the podcast services by the end of the week. Yeah. Great immigration plan. Essentially, we won't be doing it off of you were born here. We're not doing that. That's too easy, guys. We're going to do like, what are you contributing? What's your character? What do you do for the country? All right. Are you an asshole? Assholes they will be deported with the quickness. Deport. Like, yeah. I use the example. If you park your car and you leave your tires on the line, and you see it and you don't fix it and you just go into the store and act like now it's everybody else's problem, like you're getting deported. So shit like that, anything in line with that and ballpark with that, you're gone. All right. This is what's going to happen when I'm president. This week, I released another part of my presidency, my campaign. I'm going to have the anti-smelly ball bill. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, you got to clean up down there. And this isn't a fucking ad for some razor, for Manscaped or something like that. Maybe one day. But listen, you got to clean up down there. And it's not even here. Here's the tricky part, right? A lot of us clean down there, guys, and then somehow it still smells. It gets weird, especially in the summertime. Here's something I learned a few years ago that really helped. Dry your balls properly. I didn't learn this knowledge in my teen years. Dry your balls and your crotch. Get in there, dry it up. Your balls, that wrinkliness, that's holding in moisture. So you got to kind of stretch it out. Make sure they're dry. It helps, guys. Because you never know when you're going to get some impromptu fucking sort of a dirt of it, you know? If you don't know what that means, you don't know when you're going to get some impromptu fucking hanky-panky, you know? Some fucking riki-tiki. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't know what I'm talking about, your sex life might be hindering here, okay? You should have been able to feel those. That. You feel me? Dry it up. It helps. Freddy, 2052. Fresh balls for a fresh America, guys. All right? Trust me. I've had people hit me up on my Instagram. They were drying their balls the next day for work, and these are people I don't even know. We said, what did I see? Your face. I hope this is temporary. Some dude on my Instagram. Then another guy that I know closely, he was like, he spent a few extra minutes on his balls. He spent a few extra minutes on his balls, and it made his day better. It was dry. It was clean. It wasn't a rainforest down there. It wasn't conditions weren't ripe for a fucking. I hate that word when describing the crotch, but I did it right there. Whatever. You don't want bacteria with humidity and all. It's just dried up. Some people take a blow dryer to the testicle. That's like to the area. I tried it. I thought it was a little too cumbersome. So I was like, let me just do a thorough drying with the towel. And that works good enough for me. But some people might need, because there's different people sweat differently and shit like that. Some people might need to bust out the blow dryer. So yeah, if you're having trouble and you have a smelly crotch area, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? I scrub, I clean, I shower every day, twice a day. It's still weird. Dry your balls. Dry the balls, guys. Maybe I'll make a club for this, all right? The dry balls, the dry balls club, that's too down the middle. We'll call it Scrote Goats. We're the Scrote Goats, baby. What does Scrote Goat mean? It means you have a dry ball sack and it don't smell funky down there. So if, you get some impromptu dirty bits, you get that impromptu, that impromptu, yo, shorty. You know what I'm talking about, guys? Impromptu sex, maybe a little more. You it's by surprise. It just happens. You're in the moment with your girl, with your lady, or maybe you just met somebody at the Trader Joe's and things get hot and heavy real quick. You'll be ready to go, guys. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, Freddy, I don't just have impromptu sex. What kind of life do you think I'm living? This is unrelatable to me, and that's because you're not listening to this podcast on the regular, and you probably haven't shared any of my content. So start doing that, and karma will most likely work in your favor. Shout out to the Scrote Goats. Scrote Goats up in the building. What you imagine Jay-Z doing? I can't do a Jay-Z impression. What you want me to? What you want me to do? I'm sorry. Scrote Goats in the building. It's Scrote Goats in the building. Oh, dry your balls. I got this new underwear. I've been hearing advertisements for this company called Sheath, and their thing is that apparently there's a separate pocket for the penis, and I always thought that was weird. But for Christmas, I got a pair of those. But it's not the same company, same idea though. There's a hole that your penis goes in, so it keeps like the ball sack and the penis separate. So if the skin to skin's not touching, then it reduces sweat. I can't give a fair assessment on it now. I will say that the underwear is very comfortable, but I will maybe by next week's Dolocast, I think I'll have a couple weeks, a little bit over a week on the underwear. But I like it. The one thing I don't like is that the pouch for the penis makes the penis a little more prominent outside the pants. You know what I'm saying? Like. And I know, guys, I know that it's gray sweatpants season. Do you guys know what gray sweatpants season? Is that a thing for you in the cultures that you run in? Apparently, there's groups of women that like when men wear gray sweatpants and they can kind of see a little bit of dick print. So put in the comments if you think. Let me know. Is this a thing? This might be a good Instagram poll that I'm gonna do. But are gray sweatpants a thing? You see a dude, he's kind of fit, he's looking good, and you see some dick print there. Is that something that women like? Or is this just social media bullshit, guys? Because this is what this podcast is about. We're sifting through the crap. So this thing makes the old print makes it a little bit more prominent, and like I don't mind if it's unintentionally there. But like to intentionally just have dick print and like, oh, I'm gonna wear these gray sweatpants. So like, there's like fucking kids walking around, dude. What are you doing? Like, you're like you on the same team as the dude that goes to the strip club with basketball shorts, no underwear under. You've heard of these guys. I've met a couple of these guys. They get excited about it. Yo, bro, they just invented calculus or something like that. Oh man, where we at right now? 48 minutes. I'll do one more thing. Guys, I got a question. Something we should think about. I've asked this a couple times. I asked this on stage, and it's mixed reviews. Some people laugh, some people gasp. But my question is, all right, for white women, with the lip injections and the spray tans, at what point does that just become blackface? I'm not saying that's the case now. Well, but think about it. They're canceling people. They're going back 10 years on tweets, on jokes and stuff like that. What if 5 years from now, spray tans is the new blackface, and now you're in HR crying because you just wanted to look like Kim Kardashian, but they went into your Facebook, which is now run by the Chinese government. They went into your Facebook and saw some pictures and were like, this is pretty much blackface. And you're like, no, it's a spray tan. And I just put some lip filler because my fucking family, just the genes, we have like kind of like lizard lips and it's weird. And I just wanted to look a little bit more, get the lips up because biologically it makes sense. What is it? Like nice lips means, some evolution shit, right? I'm just saying. Well, I'm looking out for you, ladies. Maybe we need anthropology or restoration hardware to come out with some type of swatch on how dark you can go on the spray tans or how often, and the lip, I don't mind that. I'm obviously fucking around with that. It's a fucking joke, guys. We're just dicking around here. My take on plastic surgery or work or whatever, do what you got to do. I can't tell anybody or judge anybody for putting in some fake tits or a fake ass if it makes them feel better about themselves. You ain't hurting anybody. You know what I'm saying? You're putting some stuff into your body to make yourself a little bit more comfortable to walk through this world. I can't hate on that shit. I can make jokes about it like I just did. Yeah, of course. Well, that's what making fun of things is. You're making fun of things. I'm not ridiculing. I don't actually feel like that. It's just a funny thing to think of. Like white women get in trouble for blackface in 5 years for the spray tans and the lip injections. That would be crazy. I mean, but in all honesty, yeah, whatever. You gotta, but also be honest about it, guys. I hang out with a lot of women, and some of them do they get a little touch up work, and I'm like, oh, you getting work? They're like, oh no, it's preventative. I'm like, what? That's the thing. It's preventative. It's the same thing. You don't want to look old. I get it. Don't try to mask it in this. You're not preventing. You're just preventing the same thing. You're just coming at it from a different angle, which is fine, but it ain't gonna work on me. That explanation. Just say, fucking. My fucking nose makes me feel bad about myself, and I want to change the shit, and I got the money to do it. So eat a dick. Eat a dick needs to come back into the mainstream. Has it ever been in the main, like, I'm an extrovert. What are you guys? What are you? You an extrovert? Are you an introvert? You an ambivert? That's where you're like a little bit of both. You're fucking bivertical, if you know what I'm saying, baby. You just out here, you one day you're quiet, the next day you're yelling at the top of your lungs, let me in the goddamn Capitol building. You introverts charging up. I remember like 2000, from like 2014 to 2017, there was this weird trend where it was cool to be an introvert. I think this coincided with like the same kind of people who wanted to be like associated with tech in some way, even though they had no fucking idea with tech, but they would somehow be telling you that they're creating an app. And you're like, bro, you don't even own a computer. How are you making an app? You just have I feel like it coincides with that whole thing. It was this whole thing of like how being alone was so cool. And which is, if someone can't be alone, that's weird. But also people were just sucking the dicks of like this perceived introvertedness that they thought they had. And I was like, am I tripping right now? Or is this like a thing? Like, cause a lot of people just get their personalities from social media. And I was like, is this a fucking thing? And it totally was. And I noticed it when one of my buddies, one of the biggest extroverts I know, like he competes with me. I took personality tests and all this shit, like the Big Five. It's a valid clinical psychology test. I'm high extrovert. If you meet me, that it proves. If you listen to this podcast, I'm full of high energy. I'm a fucking extroverted motherfucker. Love my time alone, and I know it's necessary for me to be alone, and I can be alone. I spend lots of time alone. But I know that I'm an extrovert. And I knew this was some fucking weird trend when one of my buddies, Eric Chandler, he was a podcast guest. He's episode 3, I believe. Listen to that episode and you tell me if he's a fucking extrovert. He's an extrovert. But he was like, yo, bro, I think I'm an introvert. And I was like, shut the fuck up. You are not a goddamn introvert. You're a Cuban man from Miami. You are not an introvert, dude. There's no Cubans from Miami that are introverts. Zero. I just did the study in my head, and that's a fact, guys. Guys, thank you so much for joining the live stream. This has been good. The YouTube comments worked. We had Ebony Jones in here. Didn't get anybody else in there. If you're commenting on Facebook or any other platforms, I'll figure this shit out. Stick with me. You think you succeeded the first time you did something, or the second or the third? No, thanks for joining me. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really loving doing these live streams. They're going to be a weekly thing. They're going to be as long as they need to be. I'm not trying to, force shit, but at the end of the day, these just feel good. So let me know what you think of these Dolocast. Do you like them? Do you hate them? What would you change? I'm still in the phase of this part of where I'm maybe taking some outside recommendations on things you might want to see. If you watch live streams on YouTube and shit like that, even better. Your commentary or your critique would mean more. So share my content, guys. If you fuck with my brand, you like what I got, I'm funny. We do the insightful shit. We're just trying to show people out here that we're living real lives. These phony ass Instagram influencer bullshit. It's not here. So you're going to get different views. You're going to get funny shit. You're going to get whatever I'm thinking. So, and it seems to be working. So thank you all who fuck with me. I appreciate it very much. And remember, guys, that